Welcome to Unhinged Magi!
Good video for you guys today.
Yes, our worst video ever.
Yeah, this is going to be the worst because we're talking about something that's the worst.
Bratwurst. It's what's for dinner.
Brat, and it's the worst.
Okay, enough said.
That was a terrible dad pun. But that's what I do now. I do dad puns.
There he is. And you know why? Because he's a dad.
Yep, and so, yeah, dad puns. That's how this channel rolls now. Hope you guys like them. There's going to be more, I'm sure.
Guaranteed 100%.
And they are the worst, just like brat.
Just like brat. I don't really like bratwurst.
Actually, I love any kind of sausage.
Really?
Yeah, any kind.
Any kind of sausage?
Yes, I know about blood sausage, and yes, I think it's pretty good.
Oh, never mind then. Okay.
Is that where you were going to go?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So, everyone has had their worst Magic the Gathering investment. Of course, we have too.
Of course.
So, we're going to talk about that a little bit. What has been our worst actual Magic the Gathering investments?
Dun, dun, dun.
And it's kind of an interesting topic because, like, to the largest extent, Magic the Gathering has been one of the best investments of my entire life. So, to pick something out of that and say this was a terrible investment is kind of
hard to do.
Yeah.
Right? Because if everything has gone up, and we love it when it goes up. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But if it's the worst, then it probably didn't go up.
Yep, and some of them might have even dropped an awful lot.
Yep, usually right off the store shelf.
So, now what's interesting about this is I have a lot of cards that I expected were going to continue going up, and they did for a while. So there's a whole range of cards that I'm not really going to talk about so much in this video, but I can say, like, they did go up, they had a lot of value, I was very excited about them. Then they all just came crashing down, and now, like, their value has just gotten destroyed. And so it's on those cases, it's not like I bought at the top of a market. Like, fetch lands is a really big one there. Like, I got all my fetch lands, like, when, was it Odyssey?
Yeah, Odyssey. I think it was
Onslaught. When Onslaught came out and the fetch lands were out, I was going out and I was buying them between like $5 and $8 a piece or something like that. So when they were up to like around $100 a piece, I was like, woo! I was so excited about that. But then they just kept reprinting, and then they kept reprinting, and then they kept reprinting, and now those Onslaught fetches are like $30, something like that.
And they're going to do the same with the enemy flesh lands too.
Yeah. Yep, that is going to happen.
The future is now.
We're getting deep now.
Yeah, sorry. Cool. Yep. So that's the terrible thing.
So why don't we start off with your worst Magic investment ever?
Okay, so, man, when you're in your 34-ish era kind of thing, I'm around 34. Anyways, I was drinking.
Doing a little bit of this, huh? A little bit of that?
Yes. This is not for kids. Just saying. But anyways,
take that, Papa.
I was drinking quite a bit heavily.
Of water?
Yeah, water. Lots and lots of water. Anyways, I drank so much water, my friends had to take me home. Anyways, they left me in my house all by myself. And you know what I usually do when I go into the house and I'm drunk?
Video games?
Usually. But this time I decided to hit the boot button on my computer and go exploring old times. Oh my goodness, Magic the Gathering old times. How I miss it. Oh, look, they have an Arabian Nights booster box. Oh, that would be so cool. Purchase. Oh, look, unlimited. Purchase. Oh, wow. They have a alpha starter. Purchase.
So you're going to have to really explain how this is the worst, because like those sound like amazing investments.
Oh, it sounds amazing, all right. Saviors. No, wait, I don't think it was that time I bought the Saviors community off. But I guess that's a different story. But anyways, okay, so I don't remember any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I do, however, remember my credit card statement coming to me. It was like $19,000. I was like, what the? Holy.
And that's on a credit card too. So if you don't pay the interest payments, oh my gosh.
Right. So, but I had a decent job. So let's not go there. I was a programmer. I was good. You know, no big deal on that. So I wasn't too worried. And also, at this point in my life, I was cheap. You wouldn't believe how cheap I was. I didn't buy shoes. People would give me shoes at work so I could replace my shoes.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I was that cheap. Okay. I know how to save money. I know how not to eat, even though I like food. It's crazy because at that time, that's what I did. But I didn't really have to. I just chose to do it. I didn't have anything to worry about like kids or anything like that. But that's how I chose to live. But that's also a different video, I guess. But anyways, so they sent me the stuff that I ordered. Of course, it got there. And I went, well, I guess I got to pack up then. I should probably return this. Yeah, I can't do it because I like it so much. So I hang on to it. Can't open it because it's too expensive.
So the massively filled with water form of you connected you with the proper emotions that you really actually identified in your waking self.
Yes.
So that was you. I mean, that was the real Dan.
There was the real Dan coming out.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you have stuff you cannot open. You have stuff you cannot sell.
Yep.
If you cannot sell it, and you cannot open it, and you cannot sell it, it's not an investment. It's money in a rock. You can. So it is the worst investment because you can't sell it. If you sell it, you know what happens?
Well, you make a bunch of money.
If you sell it, do you know what happens?
You regret it?
You don't have it anymore.
Sure, that was my next answer.
If you don't have it anymore, what happens? It's not there. You can't look at it.
You regret it, which was my first answer.
True. So you can't sell it, but you can't open it either. Because you know what happens when you open it?
Then you can't open it anymore.
Exactly. It's the end. It's the end. It is the end.
This is the end.
And it's not your friend, trust me.
Yeah, it was not his friend. Okay, so I can see from that perspective in that moment that it was a bunch of money going into a black hole, which actually I can say that actually is definitely where I'm at now, because like you guys have seen, I've got a decent collection of Magic cards, and like I'm not going to sell those unless somebody's dying. I mean, the plan is that those
and
are
even then he would probably borrow it.
Yeah, I'd be like, come on, you'll grow it back. You know, you don't need that left foot, or yeah, do you really need 2 kidneys, right? I mean, there's going to be a threshold there, right? But the point is, like, all this money I put into these cards is just going to sit there and stay. So from an investment standpoint, yeah, it's terrible. All this money I've spent on Magic is just going into a black hole.
Right.
Because like it's like over my dead body or yours. Am I going to sell it, right?
So that's why I haven't opened the Arabian Nights box, because I didn't find an Arabian Nights box. I found a few loose packs, which I've already opened for the channel, right? Mm-hmm. But now I'm sitting on an Arabian Nights with 60 packs. Oh my God, 60 packs would be so
fun.
Sweet.
That would be fun.
And I would love to freaking open. When you like to open it,
there'd probably
you'd be able to see the correlation. It would be so good.
If you asked me, I would be like, "Oh, Dan, you totally shouldn't open it." But yes, let's do it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. However,
and that first part would only be so I don't feel guilty later.
Yeah.
You totally shouldn't open it. I can go back and be like, no, I see, I told you.
Yeah,
exactly.
Open it. Told you so.
But then I said, yes, let's go for it. In fact, right now.
But now it's worth a ton of money. It was worth a ton of money then from a certain point of view.
Yeah.
It's worth a ton more now. So the selling becomes greedy, and we can sell it. But then again, I won't have the box anymore, and I can't replace it.
Okay, yeah, that's valid. I think that pretty much counts.
Worst investment ever.
So my worst investment ever, I'd say...
For Magic, sorry.
I really didn't think that Wizards was going to go the direction of completely destroying the value of their own cards. Back then, I thought Wizards was really working off of a different ethos. I thought their entire intention was creating a whole collectability kind of thing, mixed with gaming. There would always be these older cards and sets, and so the vision that I had is like moving forward, every set that was made might have a couple reprints here or there, but like for the most part, no. And so I thought the older sets would always like maintain some value, and that has really been dispersed in like the last like 10, 15 years. Like Wizards has proven that they're not willing to do that.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of sets. Somewhere
That's
around.
Why Wizards of the Coast should enact my plan.
Yeah, open the reserve list and
Yeah,
start
exactly.
adding things back into it. Not to take them off, but to add things to it.
Add things to it, but also with the 5-year, 2-year, 3-year plan that I
Yeah.
came up with.
Yeah, that was
Because
another
you
video.
keep- yeah.
Maybe we should link that video right now so people know about it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there's a link probably appeared up here somewhere.
Hmm.
So anyways, so like around Tempest and forward, there's a whole bunch of cards that I looked at and thought these are like 5-star good cards for decks. And so I would not only put money into them like thinking I'm going to actually use these, but I actually put a bunch of money into them thinking these were going to go up in value. And now what's happened over the years is like I'd say maybe there's even another reason I should talk about, but they have reprinted those cards, which has destroyed a lot of the value of them and made their value just kind of tank. But then another thing that they did is they moved so far away from trying to balance the game, and you have all these cards that like within like a block are like is like a good card. But when you open it up and you're looking at like everything inside of like Legacy or everything inside of Vintage or everything inside of Modern, like those cards are now no longer good because they're mixed with all these other ones that were never really balanced together. And so you have all these cards that like in a very narrow format they would be good, but since nobody plays that narrow format, they're just not. And so Wizards has destroyed their value also just based on that. And so there's an awful lot of cards I spent an awful lot of money in. Like I'd say maybe from Tempest up to somewhere around like Mirrodin kind of range. And I really thought that they were going to maintain value. And now you could like just go on like TCG Player or Star City Games or something like that. And you can fill up your shopping cart with like 50-cent rares and 10-cent commons and uncommons. All these cards. Just shove them all in and get a big brick of these cards that now just their value is destroyed, right? And so I'd say have to say that's my worst side of investing in Magic the Gathering is those ones. But as you guys know, everything like Alpha all the way up to like Tempest, let's under like reserve list kind of cards, like there's so many cards inside of there that
You
are
can't
just
really
exploded in value.
You can't really lump Alpha, Unlimited, and Beta in there because even the commons are like going through the roof.
Well, what I was meaning to say is like between those sets, Alpha to like Tempest, you got cards all throughout that are just like, not every card, but cards all throughout that have just gone up in value so much.
True.
It's offset the losses that it took for other ones later. So like, Cursed Scroll, for instance, I thought Cursed Scroll would be a great card for a long time, right? But, it turns out that it's not because like other cards have been printed since then. Nobody really plays it in most formats. And so you can buy some Cursed Scrolls very cheap. Hammer of Bogarden. I thought that would be a big card. You get those crazy cheap now.
You know what they should do? They should make crazy cheap cards like worth money. Like let's say they make printed up a new standard set,
Mm-hmm.
and then they make like what is it? What does the hammer do?
Oh, that's the one. It's like a 3 damage to any target. It's a sorcery, and it's like 2 red and 1. But then, like when it's in your graveyard and like during your upkeep or something, you can pay to like get it either back in your hand or on top of your library. So it's like a lightning bolt that you can bring back, kind of.
Okay, so what they should do is print up cards that like cause it to trigger. Like put target card that's in your graveyard into your top of your library, like a spell, and have it trigger twice whatever that card does.
There you go, Wizards.
So
Free idea.
that would actually, so something like that. So they can take these cheaper cards that are already printed and out there that were great during their reign and make them great again through a use of another card.
To some extent, that's kind of how Snapcaster Mage works.
Oh yeah, well, Snapcaster Mage works with any spell or sorcery, right?
So that's such a good card.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So similar to that effect, but I want it to be more targeted towards particular cards.
Okay.
Like it would have to specify that I'm going to be using it on my hammer. That way it triggers multiple times because I have the hammer.
Yeah.
And
More of
maybe-
that, please.
Yes. I think that would be fun. I think that would be interesting. I mean, this could be like maybe another set that just interacts with other cards that already exist.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was another thing I used to actually do that I should mention that I took losses on. In some cases, sometimes it paid off. When a new Magic set would come out, for a long time, what I would do is I would go on eBay and I would buy the 4X commons, 4X uncommons. So it's like a complete set of commons and uncommons for that. And I'd get it for like $25 to $35. And that was great. And then I would go and up to $100, I would start cherry picking other rares that I thought were good. So I'd spend $100 on each set, and I would get all the commons and uncommons. I would only get the rares that I cared about. And actually, I thought that was a great way to buy for a long time. And so in those rare purchases, there was an awful lot of them that I thought were going to be really big, and then they just fizzled out. It never materialized. Like Painseer is one of them, which is kind of like Dark Confident. It's like a poor man's Dark Confident. I thought that would be big, so I dropped like $12-15 each for something like that.
So what was it? Common?
It's a rare.
It's a rare. Gotcha.
Yeah. So Dark Confident is he's a one black
one.
Yep.
Black
And,
one.
yeah, and you get to draw an extra card to lose life
Life.
to the cast. So Painseer is kind of like that, but there's a condition you have to like tap or untap a creature or something. There's something like that. But anyways, like so Painseer I thought would be bigger, but it just turned out to absolutely not be. But I can say Cavern of Souls. I actually did buy my Caverns of Souls for $10 each.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, when that set came out, I was like, yeah, this card's gonna be big. So I bought a play set for like $40.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I'm opening up Zendikar Rising and got Cavern of Souls.
Yeah, you just open it. That's what this guy just does. I just open it.
Yeah. And then I sell the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I want to hear about some of your guys' worst investments for Magic the Gathering.
I have another idea for a card, though, just since we're filming here.
Yeah.
So let's say you had a land.
Okay.
And all it did was trigger land effect when it's sacrificed. Because I was thinking about fetch lands. Trigger it and 3 times. Force it to trigger 3 times, but the land that you put out that triggers it 3 times goes away. It gets sacrificed to you. So like you have a fetch land on the board.
Okay.
And you have this other land on the board as well.
Okay.
And then when you sacrifice it, this one automatically goes off, sacrifices itself, and triggers the fetch land to fetch 3 lands instead.
So this one that normally would have sacrificed doesn't actually sacrifice. This card allows this one
To
instead of sacrificing, it allows it to pretend like it paid a sacrifice cost twice.
Yes.
And then the third time it finally goes.
Gone. Yes.
And now this card, does it go away
It
on
goes
the third
away.
time?
It would have to go away too.
And so what if you use this card on this one?
Well, you
But then-
can't. This one automatically triggers when this one triggers.
Oh, it automatically does.
Yes.
Okay, so if I had another fetch land, like say I was a Scalding Tarn and I have a Polluted Delta.
Yeah.
So I did this one, and this guy imprints on him.
Right.
Then I sacked this one. This one is now already imprinted on him.
Yeah, he cannot imprint again.
That's interesting. I like that idea. Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, so like you get a multiplication kind of effect because 2 cards effectively turn into a net of 3,
Right.
right? But it's kind of like an open effect.
Right.
So you could do it like several times. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea,
Sorry.
actually.
Just a thought in my head.
It's a good mechanic. I like that, actually. I would definitely buy that card. Yeah.
Too OP?
No, well, it depends on... Yeah, that's a whole separate video, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big question.
I was just curious.
We'd have to really think through all of the things that you could use it with.
Yeah. Because landfall would definitely
Yeah.
explode out of the tank.
Yeah, they would really have to look at that. But I like the idea of it because it takes 2 cards to do it. But then you're actually going to just get the net 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways,
Sorry.
I want to hear about your guys' worst investments. The things like maybe like lost money on, or they just were for Magic that were completely disappointing. Yeah, type them below. I want to hear about it.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of Sabers at Kamigawa, but they went up. Bought like 12 cases. I thought I was just buying I think it was boxes, a couple of boxes, but I ended up buying 2 cases instead.
And just like your other cards, like, well, I guess I'll just keep it.
Yeah, exactly. You can't return it. Returning is terrible.
I guess so.
Opening is always priceless.
Okay, so there we go. I want to hear about your guys' experiences too.
Have a great time, guys.
Okay, bye everybody.